I'm outside of Raleigh Studios, and I'm about to go check out a new controversial film called Tupac's Assassination. So stay tuned for a Q&A with the director and the bodyguard of Tupac. Peace.
Just coincidentally, some gunman sticks his arm out of a white Cadillac and shoots the biggest rapper in America. And that's a coincidence. Why didn't they shoot anybody else?
I grew up on Pac, been around people that love Pac. Tracy Danielle, Henry Faison was, I'm pretty sure you know Henry. And my question to you is, being that we want to do something about this, who do we need to talk to? Like if we can get somebody in, maybe in Las Vegas, how do we go about getting this information to them, to the media outlet?
The first part of your question, though, I like that, and I'd like to address that. You said, what are the next steps? What happens now? And I think that's really going to be the burning question, or at least we hope that's the burning question on everybody's mind. What now?
How you doing? Great project, by the way. Tim Hunter from Music News Weekly. Question for you is pretty much two-part. Have you heard or even tried to reach out to the main characters that look like the villains, like Suge and Reggie Wright? Or if so, what do they have to say about things like, if they feel that they're innocent, do they think that you guys are betraying them as, people who used to work with them?
We personally haven't tried to reach out to them. I believe my publicist can answer that question because there was a phone call made.
What we would like to do, one of the problems that happened out in Las Vegas was that there was a lot of mistrust with local law enforcement in Los Angeles, particularly Compton PD. Right. You've got Reggie Wright employing Compton police officers working death row. Vegas was not sure who to trust, not sure whose team people were on. We've been able to bridge that gap here in LA, and I'm hoping that maybe through Frank or some type of networking setup, we can take leads, take clues that you might have, and share them with Las Vegas, but also use that information here in Los Angeles. Obviously, this is where death row is based. Secondly, one of the problems here is there's a lot of reference going on to the FBI or the feds, but you got to remember that this is not a federal investigation. This is basically isolated to Las Vegas. It's an isolated murder, and the feds don't have any authority within it. So the federal agencies are not going to just take over a murder investigation unless it's part of a much broader investigation. And Frank, I'm asking you here publicly, will you entertain an interview?
Publicly right now, for the record, yeah, I will talk with you. Kevin Hackie just walked up here, who was my replacement. He was the backup bodyguard to Tupac. He obviously has something he wanted to say.
I'll interject what you're saying. First of all, I'm a retired police officer. I was the undercover agent for the FBI for 4 years for Death Row Records in regards to racketeering investigation. The Federal Bureau of Investigations did take over the investigation approximately about 20 minutes after Tupac was shot, which is a matter of public record. There's even on record, which is on the 9th, that the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police attempted to detain me. An agent by the name of Dan McMullen, who was my supervisor, contacted the Metropolitan Police Department at about 9 o'clock on September 9th. There was a whole slew of the people in front of the hospital. Metropolitan Police car pulled out. I was the only guy, I arrived in Vegas that morning, that went to the police station, identified myself. I was given authorization to carry a firearm, which I still do have all the paperwork. Obviously, that came from higher up beyond Las Vegas Police. My supervisor was Dan McMullen, the FBI Wilshire office. Dan is, I believe, now in Seattle, which you can verify. John Ciccione, the ATF agent, was also my supervisor. My job, as I said, was to infiltrate death row for racketeering violations. There was another officer from Long Beach PD who worked undercover. Subsequently, Reggie Wright was my partner. I've known Reggie for many years. Based upon that, that's why I was called in to do this investigation. Okay, but what you basically just said, the FBI did take over the case, and obviously, as most of you do know, there is no statute of limitations on murder. Sooner or later, there will be an arrest.
And I was aware of all that. I didn't want to front you off. Okay. But nonetheless, you do have to understand, the FBI does not have jurisdiction over a singular murder. Okay, I'm explaining this to you so you know. Okay, they were looking at something much broader.
Let me correct you on one thing, okay? Tupac Shakur was a suspect in a racketeering investigation.
There's the key word.
So at that point in time, it became federal jurisdiction.
Okay, you clarified that that's the key word.
Timeout, sports fans. Greg, there is some information that we want to make available from the movie. Frank was not privy to a lot of the interviews, and a lot of the information were done without his involvement. He wasn't present for some of the interviews. So I can say that there was some information that maybe he even saw later on after your call, because I was aware that you did call. Also, I think there was a little bit of confusion at the time because the information was regarding the Christopher Wallace investigation, and we weren't really sure that anything that we had would be directly relevant, and that was more of a judgment call. So if whatever we can do to reach out, we want to, because as you said, we'd all like to see this thing come to a head, really.
Granted.
You know, really.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem, sure. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question, and I'm not sure that you can answer it. It seems like you may have an opinion on it, though. First of all, my name is Jerry Davis. I'm a 25-year veteran of the music industry, and I heard very little reference to Christopher Wallace, Biggie Smalls, and I'd just like to know what your thoughts are as far as his death, and if there's any relationship or non-relationship between the murder of Tupac.
With the detective here in the house, there is an ongoing murder investigation. My personal belief, yes, there is a correlation between the two. Basically, just let's just say threw off the trail.
The Compton killings that occurred thereafter, after Tupac was shot, was just a diversion to make general public, law enforcement believe it was a blood Crip thing. When indeed, I mean, it was all orchestrated.
When we did this project, one of the things that was really important, and the reason that we just didn't really touch on it, is because this whole investigation is it's an 8-headed snake, and you really have to stay focused because you can go in so many different directions. And as everybody knows, the whole Biggie investigation, that's a whole ball of wax all by itself, and it's got its own legends, it's got its own rumors, it's got its own ways of thinking. But we really wanted to stay focused on Pac because that was what this picture was called, and that's what we were talking about.
He said, why didn't he ever go to anybody and say something to him? Even though they never came and said anything to him. Why didn't he go? He had all this information. Why didn't he go to Las Vegas police and say, you guys need to know this information, whether they called him or not? Because he said nobody ever called him. Why didn't he call them?
We're actually doing a book that's going to be tied in with the movie, and it has a lot more detail than what you saw.
But you guys didn't want to know that when you were interviewing him?
Well, yeah, we did actually, and like I said, there was a lot that obviously wasn't in the movie. But you have to understand that the reason that Michael Moore said that he didn't come forward is because nobody asked him. Everybody heard this recent discussion in the media. I think it was 60 Minutes, where they were talking about snitches and snitching out and this type of thing. And that was it Cameron, I think it was. Cameron said that. Snitches. Yeah, well, the thing is that I think that there's some sort of exception to the rule when if you're a snitch, if you come forward on your own and you just speak up, you're a snitch. But if somebody asks you and you're in a position where you're not going to lie about it, somehow there's an out there.
My question is, do you guys believe his story?
Well, I wouldn't have put it in the movie if I didn't believe it.
So you believe it, but you didn't think it was relevant to find out why he had this story. He knew all these things, and he never went to anybody. He never went to a police officer. He never went to anybody and said, this is information that everybody should know because they got it, and he said it.
I can tell you this much. I believe after this movie comes out, you're going to see dozens of people that are going to come out of the woodwork. That was what we started to find out, was the more people that we talked to, the more people started to have information that would have never have said anything. It's almost like when you go to a dance and nobody wants to dance, and then the first two people get out on the floor and all of a sudden everybody starts dancing. That's really what it comes down to.
My name is Mr. Fab. I'm a local artist from the Bay Area who flew in just to see this.
Thank you for coming.
Tupac means so much to us where I'm from in the Bay Area. Like the significance of his meaning is meaningful to him. Do you guys feel that through this movie, like not only will the legacy continue to live on, but do you feel that there will be a lot of people who will be able to sleep happy now?
Well, I don't know if people will be able to sleep happier, but they'll have more information. There will be some information that has come out that people never knew of, and that's mainly what the the picture is about. We're releasing this information showing that this investigation from Las Vegas, they missed some people.
Are you afraid of your life now?
Fear and faith cannot live in the same place, and I'm a man of God, and I have no fear. I have no fear.
My name is Shari Henry. I am a very, very dear friend of Tupac's and the Shakur family. First, want to commend you brothers for the film. It was done very excellently because I've been very close to the family and close to friends in the industry. I'm also a 20-year music exec myself, still currently in the music business. And a lot of the related stories that you guys have told, like I've heard stories that knew the ladies that were in the car there, that have seen the people, and the fear factor of coming forward, and just even, I don't even know Michael, but just even when he said that he went to the meeting with the artist and he was the only one that said, hey, and then when you're out there like going, wow, am I going to be the only one that's nobody supporting me and backing me? And you've got people that were on that strip. I've heard of many, many people that were literally there and saw and are definitely, they have collaborated from the things that I've heard even back then in '96, what you guys have put there. So I believe you guys have done an excellent job. I commend you for it. If there's things that we could, if there's things that we can do, putting pressure on the local government in Las Vegas, on the police department, I think this is going to open up a lot of things. People are going to feel more comfortable moving forward. I hope that justice is done because I loved him dearly, dearly, dearly.
Well, we're
You've
glad
seen The
you came.
Resurrection.
Thank you.
I was in the movie. So was my mother, everybody else. And I just thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the Shakur family, my family alone. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
I just have a quick question. My name is Ahmad Childress. I'm from Crave Online. Why now? Why did you choose now to do the film, and why did you choose to reopen this matter at this time?
A little background. When we first started the project, it wasn't supposed to be like this. The project was started as a follow-up in the music industry to look at how 11 years later, 10 years later, the music industry's changed as a result of the vacuum that was left when Pac left us. And we started to go back and talk to people that we had never spoken with regarding their memories, their recollections of what had happened that night and what they thought of Pac and that. And these people started speaking their mind, like Michael Moore and that, started talking about these things. And suddenly it occurred to us that, wow, I wonder what else they have to say. So we just let them talk. And about that part, we got about 4 or 5 interviews in the can. We turned around and said, you know what, this is a totally different kind of picture than we thought it was going to be. And if there's anybody who's ever done any kind of movies or any kind of television, you'll learn that at a certain point, a movie takes on a life of its own. It just does what it's going to do. You have little say over it. It just takes on a life of its own. And in this case, that's what it became. It became the story about Tupac's death and what happened to cause it. So it didn't start off that way. And that's why I say why now, because it was the right time.
What's going down, y'all? It's Tajay, man. I remember, I had a lot to say in New York about it. I'm also a member, of the family of Thug Life. Those are all my peoples, you know what I'm saying? But for the law enforcement that's in the building, I have a question. Do y'all believe in a perfect crime? Like, seriously? Because from what I'm hearing, the only resistance to solving this case has been no witness cooperation. And I haven't really seen this case get pursued. And that's one thing people aren't really addressing. If it has been pursued, I guess it's been under wraps. I know I'm not alone when I say that it seems like, yeah, it's a big thing, good thing for movies and all of that. And also I want to commend Frank, and RJ like I did in New York, because, man, it's really shedding light on truth, But the law enforcement seem like they don't care, just like the homie Muta said. It seems like they don't, it's like whatever. But other cases will be on TV for months, years, news footage every day, following them to court. But none of that happened with this case. Is that, what do y'all think about that? Anybody, even law enforcement?
I'll go ahead and comment on that. Based upon the circumstances surrounding Tupac and Biggie, there was a lot of, how can I put it, higher up involved in law enforcement. For those of you who don't know who Lawrence Longo is, Lawrence Longo was the #2 district attorney back between 93, 94, 95. Basically, that's how Suge Knight basically had 16, 17 felony convictions, of course, never went to prison. Lawrence Longo was on Mr. Knight's payroll. Am I correct? Well, his daughter...
His daughter was an artist in our studio.
His daughter, Gina, was.
I'm just giving you the technical facts. I don't want to say he was.
Okay, but what I'm leading up to, what I'm leading up to, Mr. Lawrence Longo lost his job because of me. That information obviously was turned over to the Federal Bureau. Gina was going to be the first white artist on Death Row Records. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all on the same page. As I said before, to answer your question, eventually there will be an arrest regarding Mr. Shakur, and I bet we can say Mr. Wallace. Am I right, sir?
I believe so.
You believe so? We're all on the same page. I'm not even a cop no more. No, I'm not. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm not saying that to be arrogant or anything, towards you or anything whatsoever. But it's just society has the right to know. I worked for the Bureau for 4 years. I was a cop damn near 18 years. At the end of the day, I get over. Okay, but finally, hey, life is all good for me now.
Hi, Devin Angelica, 93.5 Kading FM. I just have a question regarding, I know a lot of stuff gets done with Tupac's likeness and Tupac's story and his music. Are any of the proceeds of this film going to be going to his family or any of the charities in his name?
Yes, it is. Yes. Absolutely. We've already set it up.
Thank you. My name is Alexis Patterson, and my question is, has Miss Afeni Shakur been able to view this? And if so, can you give us her take on how she felt about it?
No, Afeni has not seen this film as far as we know, but her attorneys have. The estate attorneys have seen it, and we have their blessings on the project.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that we weren't doing anything there.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chan, and I was just wondering, who do you guys feel killed Tupac?
Man, we didn't spell it out enough in the movie? You know what? I'm going to say what our opinions are don't matter.
Yeah.
No, it does.
What our opinions are don't matter. What matters? What matters?
Who did it? Let's go, Frank. We need to know. Let's go, Frank. It's just an opinion. Put it out there.
On camera. Straight to YouTube.
Straight to YouTube. Next question.
Yeah, what's important is that you decide.
Well,
I think it's important that you be the judge. You be the judge.
I think when people still asking the question of who shot him, that means that maybe the movie should continue. I'm not giving you any suggestions, but I am a filmmaker. I think the direction that you could go with you guys having the connections and knowing his background and his history is starting with the law enforcement. Go and do a documentary on what the law enforcement is doing to make sure that the job is being enforced properly. I think that would be the route.
How long had you been working with Death Row when Tupac got shot? How long had you been inside?
Me?
Yeah.
I've been inside since 1992, before right-way security even was developed, because, well, Frank, all these guys you saw, I'm the one basically who proved them when they were hired on. This goes back, was it 94, 95?
Kevin was told to investigate me. Kevin was told to investigate me. Kevin and I became friends and have remained friends, obviously, over 11 years. But he was told to investigate me. And I remember a lot of things concerning those times that...
I mean, basically on the individuals who were working with the top main artists at the time, Dr. Dre, Tupac, I think the Dog Pound was real big at that time. Basically, individuals who were going to be around them, basically, it was my responsibility to say basically yea or nay. As I said, at that time, Reggie, when we started working for Death Row Suge at the time, Reggie still was a police officer.
Who hired you, and how did you get, who interviewed you for the job?
Well, I was never interviewed. Reggie and I used to be partners.
Yeah, Reggie and you were partners, but so you got hired on before Reggie, right?
No. Reggie basically, brought me in.
Brought you in. Okay, so, and Reggie wasn't part of the undercover investigation. He didn't even know.
Go ahead.
No, he didn't.
Okay, I have a question for you, Frank. The night of the murder, you said the movie said you were in the car with the outlaws behind Pop.
I'm sorry.
And they made a left-hand turn. Suge and Tupac made a left-hand turn, right? A U-turn.
Correct.
How come your car didn't follow?
I did. I ran back to the car and followed Tupac
No,
and
but I'm
Suge.
talking about the car. How come the car you were driving didn't make the U-turn along with them?
She may have followed the Cadillac.
Right. Why did you follow?
The car behind me followed the Cadillac. My responsibility was to stay with Tupac, period. And to go even further into that, I was not driving my car. I was driving the car that Tupac had driven to Las Vegas, which was Kadada Jones's car. It had no gas in it. There was no gas in the car. The light was on and it was past E. I don't even know how the car kept driving.
Okay, to comment on that, I'm sure a detective can verify this. It doesn't matter now. It's 10 years old. Buntree and Neckbone, Alton McDonald and Roger St. Clair did follow the Cadillac.
That was the car behind me.
Okay, they did follow the Cadillac.
Right.
And a detective can verify this, that there was bullet holes in the passenger door of the vehicle, which was recovered, which was the Supra.
It was a Supra.
It was a Supra.
When I went to Suge's house the next day, I saw the bullet holes in the car.
Yeah, that was recovered at a later date, but that's never been mentioned to the public or anything. Okay.
One question I have, I just can't understand how Suge could be in the car and not get hit. Just, can you explain as a law enforcement?
Okay, I'm going to explain something to you right here. Okay. We got the vehicle, we're going to say vehicle number 1 here, which is the vehicle to the left of me. We got vehicle number 2, which is Fox and Suge's car. You have vehicle number 3, the suspect vehicle. The suspect vehicle pulled up at close proximity, if I remember correctly, it was probably a foot and a half away when it pulled up. The suspect, as the vehicle pulled up, driver came out, arm came out, point blank. Their car was approximately 2 or 3 feet ahead of Suge's car, whereas there's no way possible the shooter, he would have got his intended target. Okay? That's just reality of things.
Even Suge though, I mean,
No, that's what I'm saying. When they were stopped right here, the car was stopped. The suspect vehicle pulls up alongside. There was no one. The suspect vehicle was in the number 3 lane, correct? Yes, or number 2 lane.
Yeah.
They were in the number 3 lane. Suspect vehicle pulls up ahead of the BMW, which was stopped, also blocked in by a car. So there was no way possible. You let a gun out the window right here at an angle. We're right here pulling right up. Boom, boom, boom. You're gonna hit your target. You're not going to hit Mr. Knight in the head with the glasses.
there's no way possible, but he was great.
He was not grazed. It was glass fragment. Glass from the windshield cut in the head.
So obviously there's one person you guys, well, I don't want to say failed the question, but there's somebody y'all might be leaving out and we all think know who needs to be interviewed. Is Suge Knight.
Like I said before, this was the perfect crime. This was the perfect crime. And you know what? Like I said, and I'm trying to, in a sense, I'm trying to reach out to Reggie. And this is, you know, I'm probably the only one at the end of the day that can help you out, believe it or not. But I'm even willing at this point in time to put up my own money, $100,000. You say you had nothing to do with the Tupac shooting, Christopher Wallace shooting. You take a polygraph. I'll set you up with a place. You take a polygraph. And if you had nothing to do with it, my God, it'll be on the 6 o'clock news. I will give you $100,000. The world knows I will give you $100,000 of my own money. Started working for Death Row later part of 92, 93, first part of 93. Reggie Wright Jr. hired me. He was a police officer for the city of Compton. I was a bodyguard, different celebrities, rap entertainers, different people.
Can you name a few?
Dr. Dre, Daz and Corrupt, Dog Pound, Nate Dogg, Nathaniel Hale, Snoop, of course. I started protecting Tupac Shakur in October '95 when he was released, the day he was released from prison. I was the original bodyguard for Tupac. I was Los Angeles County jail booking in a burglary suspect. I went to work that day. I had arrested someone early on that day, a burglary suspect. During the apprehension of the arrest, the suspect was injured. So I had to transport him to Los Angeles County General Hospital. And anytime you book in a suspect that's injured, it has to be medical clearance. And that's where I was down there. A girlfriend of mine called me at about 12:30 in the morning because she had heard originally all the different reports. His bodyguard was in the car, an ex-girlfriend of mine. And I had received a call from Reggie about 11:15 that night. I mean, he was just, a tape was worth $1 million. If I'd had that tape, just cursing me out about how I should have got on the plane and this and that, and Suge's upset, all these people down here, and it's only Frank with Tupac. And so I said to him, I said, well, you have all these cops over here at 662. Why don't you have the cops over there with him? And Reggie was, I could tell, I know Reggie well enough, and I know you well enough, that he was agitated. There was something in his voice. As I said, it's about 15 minutes before. And so, lo and behold, obviously this incident occurs. And my statement to him is, why would you just have Frank with him when you got all these other cops? And you just don't know. And one thing I knew, obviously this whole thing was starting to fall apart. Mm-hmm. And like I said, at one point or another, Reggie and I were like brothers. Okay, at one point or another, there's nothing I wouldn't do for Reggie. Mm-hmm. And I think vice versa at one time. But Reggie always told me he was so far in now, there's no way turning around. Mm-hmm. But, obviously, I knew what he meant. Yeah.
I understand that.
And, even today as I'm sitting here, Reggie knows how to get a hold of me. And I'm probably only the last person at this point in time that could save him. And I say that with everything. I say that with everything I have. I'm probably the only last person today that could save him. About 15 minutes before.
15 minutes prior, was he panicked?
Yes, he was. He was nervous. He was. I have never seen. I've been on a street situation when we were police officers with Reggie. Looking for armed suspects. Mm-hmm. And he's never been this nervous before.
Okay. That's deep. So, did you know at that time that they weren't allowed to carry guns? Or did you find out the following day?
No, at that time when I spoke to Reggie, no.
Okay.
I found out several hours later from another officer, LAPD officer is no longer with us, Rich McCulley, that, something was up because Frank told him, he told him everybody, they're not supposed to carry guns. 3 months prior to that, in June of '96, myself, Tupac, Suge, Reggie, and a couple of homeboys, we were there in Vegas for the fights. Mm-hmm. Tupac rode with me the whole time. And when he was with me, I always made him wear a bulletproof vest. He always knew when he was with me, he had to wear the vest. He always knew I had 2 guns on him. So God forbid something happens to me, you do what you got to do at that point in time. Mm-hmm. He always knew that. We rode around the city, convertible, no problems, this and that. Reggie and I rode around together a couple of times. Mm-hmm. And, it was just in a sense you start getting a funny feeling. Here it was 3 months before. It's just us down here. Mm-hmm. And then about a week or 2 weeks before he was shot, the incident up in Hollywood, when I was out there by myself and all the sheriffs rolled out. Mm-hmm. So when you think this is their number one artist, he's as high profile as they get. Mm-hmm. And you're paying for all the security. Mm-hmm. You got all these guys at the club. Right. Something's wrong. The pieces of this whole situation, it just doesn't fit. But I think at the end of the day, ultimately, Reggie is and will be the fall guy at the end of the day.
Did you see Tupac that day?
Yeah, I went up to the floor and saw him.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that visit.
I actually started crying. I always call him, I like the kid. I knew reality. He was no type of gang member. Obviously this is about money. This was album sales. Okay, but I knew at the end of the day, I always saw a different side of him. Because I knew from day one, when I picked him up, I mean, the first place we went to, we got out of LAX, myself, Tupac, Titus Himes came with him, Psych, and another guy by the name of Bogart. I mean, the first place we went to was he loved El Pollo Loco chicken. El Pollo Loco at Sentinel and La Tierra. That was our first stop, El Pollo Loco chicken.
Wow.
And the limousine pulling up there. And I always knew, I mean, it was just, in a sense, you know, it was all this hype, but, you know, he was just like the rest of us.
He's a baby.
I mean, he had feelings. I mean, he was soft-hearted, but, of course, when he got around Suge, you know, he had to play the part. You know, he was all up and down. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, the situation is what it is now.
So when you saw him, did he look at you?
Suge?
No, Tupac.
No, when I was in the hospital, his eyes, you could tell he was sedated. So, I mean, obviously his pupils were open, but there was no movement there. Okay. But, I mean, he was sedated.
Okay.
I did work undercover for the FBI and ATF during my tenure with Death Row Records and Right Way Protective Services.
When you got with Right Way, were you already undercover?
No, I was not. I was approached by the FBI and ATF about a year afterwards while I was working with Death Row Records in regards to racketeering within Death Row Records, and also at that time, the mayor of Compton, Omar Bradley, some other things that occurred within the city. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that the FBI at that time was following Reggie, Suge, the homeboys. Obviously, I was, you know, showing pictures and everything, and that's how things started out with the FBI. Oh, at that time, Suge had political connections in Nevada at that time. Being the case was so messed up, I mean, there were so many players, and obviously, with any homicide investigation, any law enforcement agency, I mean, here you had a case where Suge Knight has a reputation. His head of security is a ex-Compton police officer. It's suspected that you have Compton gang members who came up there to do a shooting, gangland-style shooting, and yet and still, who's heading up the investigation? You have a lieutenant from Compton Police. This whole thing, it smells from high hell. Within a matter of a day after Tupac was shot, you know, guys are getting killed left and right. The first guy that was killed, ex-friend of mine, Larry Finch, who's a Compton school police officer, his brother Bobby was the first one killed. Bobby's a hell of a nice guy. He did a lot of personal protection for stars at one time. And I mean, whatever he may have done in the past, I mean, hell, everybody's got past, okay? But, you know, you do what the person's doing today. He was a hell of a nice guy. I mean, he's the type of guy, he'd give you his shirt off his back, okay? I mean, he was ran up on, killed point blank on his front lawn.
You're kidding.
Bottom line, that was the first one.
Okay.
You know, so obviously from a law enforcement agency looking into this, I mean, all of a sudden there's war in Compton. I mean, you know, basic calls are made, you know. So, quote unquote, you know, alleged Crip members, whatever, were killed left and right. But from Las Vegas standpoint, I mean, the whole thing smells. You got search warrants all of a sudden coming about this and that, they're doing this and that. People are taken into custody. There's murders left and right. But you got two pieces right there. You got a police department. You got one ex-cop who's a right-hand man. And his daddy is still the one heading up the investigation.
And they all...
It's a conflict all the way around. I'm thinking immediately, these sons of bitches, set them up. Wholeheartedly. Honest to God. And that's just a cop's intuition. Okay? And being a police officer, detective, whatever you want to call it, crime just solved by bullshit and experience. Okay? And that was 100% experience right there. I know them sons of bitches are guilty.
Wow.
I know it.
Okay.
If Tupac was alive right now, what would he say? I think you would probably say Hackie, bust a cap in there.